1 in a million. If you're familiar with that greeting, then awesome. You already know who I'm going to talk about, who I'm covering in this Spotlight Artist article. If not, no worries. That is what this article is actually going to be about. 1 in a million is South Korean's female group Twice's greeting. This 9-member group was formed under JYP Entertainment through a competition show called 16. My introduction to this group actually didn't start until their title track in 2016 called TT. Honestly, I'm not a giant fan of survival competition music shows that form these groups. This is purely opinion, but it just feels like the fandoms are more divided because they spend the entirety of the series fighting for their favorites, rightfully so. And when these groups are finally formed, fans don't drop the competition mindframe and continue to be divisive. Not every fandom is like this, not every fan is like this, but you'll find a pattern when it comes to competition-formed groups. So I don't watch these shows, and I won't typically begin following the group until they are officially formed. This also tends to put me behind when it comes to finding newly formed groups, but that's okay with me. In 2015, JYP Entertainment announced that a 7-member group would be formed through this reality show 16. 16 JYP trainees would compete in hopes of debuting as this 7-member group Twice. The show ended with the 7 members chosen, which were Nayeon, Jeongyeon, Dahyun, Sana, Jihyo, Mina, and Chaeyoung. In the original plan for Twice, this was meant to be the group. However, during the final episodes of 16, Park Jin-young, founder and CEO of JYP Entertainment, announced that he was actually going to add 2 more members. Audience and fans voted for Tzuyu or Tzuyu, and Park Jin-young chose Momo. Don't be too concerned about the members who didn't make it into Twice. They've been successful in other pursuits in and out of the music industry. Jiwon, Natty, and Unsu joined Idol School, a competition that later formed From Is 9, and Somi debuted as a soloist under the Black Label Entertainment after participating in projects such as IOI, Unease, and the Girls Next Door. She debuted on June 13th, 2019 with Birthday. Sisters Chaeyoung and Chaeyoung both joined groups of their own. Chaeyoung was a part of Produce 48 and debuted with IZ*ONE and will later possibly debut with Dream Tree, while her sister joined ITZY. Minyoung left the music industry and actually went to college. In the same year, JYP said that Twice would debut with a mini album called The Story Begins. The album and music video for this title track, Like Ooh-Ah, was released on October 20th, 2015. Before I go any further, there might be words or even phrases that those who don't regularly listen to or are into Korean music or into the Korean scene may not be too familiar with. Once again, no worries, I'll explain as much as possible. So moving forward, April 25th, 2016, Twice has their first comeback with mini album Page 2. Its title track was Cheer Up, and the album includes 16's theme song, I'm Gonna Be a Star. Twice also won their first music show award. This is where some explaining comes in. Soloists and groups alike participate in televised music shows. There are 6 music shows, 1 for every day of the week, except for Mondays. And artists use these shows to promote and showcase new songs and albums that they've recently released. And they win awards and perform for a small amount of fans in a small setting. In September, Twice released their official colors, which are apricot and neon magenta, and they also released their fandom name, which is Once. Their light stick was introduced in October of 2016, almost a year after their official debut, with its officiated colors, and the light stick is called a candy bong. Also in October 2016, Twice released their song TT, which received an all-kill, which means that they charted on all of South Korea's major music charts. Twice held their first solo concert in 2017 in South Korea. Around this time, Twice had their comeback with Knock Knock. They were doing a lot at this time because they were also planning their Japanese debut. A group can debut at the very least up to 3 times, sometimes even more. So in Twice's case, they debuted in South Korea on October 20th, 2015, and in Japan on June 28th, 2017. And the Japanese debut included Japanese versions of their previous tracks. A bit of a side note on this, some groups sometimes do better in one place compared to another. So for example, CLC, a female group under the entertainment company Cube Entertainment, gained a better reception in Japan compared to their rankings in South Korea. Twice is very much the same. They received a higher popularity in Japan when they debuted. May saw another comeback with Signal, as well as songs co-written by members. I was co-written by Jihyo and Chaeyoung. I highly recommend checking it out. Also on this album is actually one of my personal favorite songs, which is Someone Like Me. In 2017, Twice released Twiceagram with their title track, Likey. This album is also a pretty smart reference to their Instagram account of the same name. The group also became certified platinum with their first Japanese single, One More Time. Merry and Happy was released in December with their title track, Heartshaker. 2018, Twice released their second Japanese single, Candy Pop, on February 7th, and What Is Love was released on March 25th, and the album followed on April 9th. I think What Is Love is another personal favorite, and I think that it's the music video that is my favorite part. It's a fun depiction of what love is from the point of view of popular movies. May 16th, they had their third single with Wake Me Up, and they began their second tour. Like most years since their debut, they were very, very busy, and 2018 and 2019 is no different. March 6th, they released their second Japanese album, #Twice, and the Twice Dome Tour is a massive hit. April 22nd, they saw their 7th comeback with Fancy You. This title track seemed to evolve to show off a much mature side compared to their cutesy side that they've actively promoted up to this point. It felt like a huge shift, not only in sound, but also in aesthetics because of their music video. It is still fundamentally Twice. Its foundation is still cute and catchy, but there is a definite shift in aesthetic and slightly in sound. In the second-ish half of 2019, and yes, I am skipping over a few things, Twice has a very illustrious career up to like 2021. So yes, I'm kind of jumping around. Twice had their world tour, Twice Lights, in May. June saw the release of Happy Happy and Breakthrough. Out of these releases, I do prefer Breakthrough because it carries the mature sound that they had during Fancy You, while Happy Happy follows more closely to songs such as Cheer Up and TT. Unfortunately, one of their members, Mina, to pull out of their promotion and other forms of live events. When a member is missing, it is felt by both the fans and the remainder of the members. Twice continued as a 8-member group for the rest of the promotions for Fancy U's. Forgive me. They continued on as an 8-member group during the rest of the promotions for Fancy You and other live gatherings. August saw Twice release another song, Feel Special, and Mina's absence was still felt. While Mina filmed with the group for the MVs and behind-the-scene episodes, she didn't appear in any of the promotions, such as music shows and reality shows. They also released their third Japanese album with Fake and True as its title track. Now, 2020 didn't see much from Twice, obviously due to the pandemic. They released a YouTube original called Seas Light, which shares their world tour memories for Twice Lights, as well as how they became Twice in their own world. In their own words. They also share pressures and struggles that come along with being a popular female group. June 1st, Twice had their latest comeback with More and More, which saw all 9 members return for both the MV and the music show promotions to follow. So I'm actually going to do an update real quick from the last 3 months of 2021. So in 2019 through 2021, revealed more greatness for Twice, an encore for Twice Lights. Their dome tour added 2 more stops in Tokyo. Unfortunately, due to the growing concerns of COVID-19, Twice Lights was wrapped earlier than expected. JYP Entertainment confirmed a comeback in October 2020 with a full album, Eyes Wide Open, which is only their second full album actually after Twiceagram. Twice also collaborate with KDA, a virtual idol group made by League of Legends, which had them collaborating with American singer-songwriters Becca Boom and Anika Wells on their song I'll Show You. It was announced that member Jeongyeon would not be present for promotions and other activities for their second full album release. Similar to Mina, who also had taken a break, Jeongyeon took her break to receive care for an anxiety disorder, and I'm wishing her a very speedy recovery. On January 2021, JYP Entertainment announced that Twice would be doing their first online Japanese concert, Twice in Wonderland. Due to the pandemic, many things such as performances, concerts, and more have taken to being online. Held on March 6th, it saw the return of all 9 members. However, Jeongyeon remains seated and only saying, regardless, fans were very happy to see her return and wish her a continuing and steady recovery. I hope you guys consider checking out Twice. They're a fantastic female group. They're hilarious. I think my bias in Twice is Dahyun, and I think that's because she's very quirky. I love there's a collaboration. Forgive me, I can't remember what the word is. There are videos of her being able to spot or sense cameras from like any direction, whether they be fan cams or actual cameras from other places. Like, it's really, really cool. I really love it. I love she's very quirky. But I hope you guys consider checking them out. Their latest song, I Can't Stop Me, is now out, and I'll see you guys later. Talk to you soon. Cheers.